Hello everyone, I'm back with another video, and in today's video we have a Dell Precision laptop. This exact one is a Dell Precision 5530 model. It comes with a Xeon E2176M model processor. You might have the same model but with an Intel iCore 3, iCore 5, but the process is the same, because in this video I'm going to take you on a step-by-step how you can open it up and how you can clean up the fan system, the dust from buildup on the heatsink, and repaste the GPU and the CPU with a good thermal paste. And so it won't start overheating, or the fans won't sound like a jet engine when it's heated up. And I'll go over the tools that I'll be using. All the tool links are in the video description in case you want to purchase yours or find out which one I'm using. Just remember, by doing your own cleaning and repasting, you're not going to change any configuration in the Windows. Everything will be the same way that you left it as last time you turned it on. So we're going to power it off. We're going to flip it upside down, and I'm going to go over the tools that I'll be using. Tool number one, a good screwdriver. And I fixed screwdrivers are really good to have around for servicing, as they have one of the best bits out there. We're going to be using a Phillips number 1 and a Torque number 5. And you will need a workshop towel and alcohol. And 99% isopropylic or isopropylic alcohol is a good to have. And a workshop towel. This one is kind of half ripped. The reason I always say that use a workshop towel, it's because as soon as you start cleaning the CPU and GPU, they have a lot of capacitors around them. And you put an alcohol in here and you try to wipe, this towel will rip apart before it damaging the motherboard or the components. That's why I always say don't use a microfiber towels or anything like that. Alright, so one sheet of the workshop towel, alcohol, and I would recommend you a plastic spatula is a good to have. And what else do you need? A good thermal paste. Now you can go with an Arctic MX4, which is really good, or the new version, which is Arctic MX6, or you can go over the board with the best thermal paste, which is Thermal Grizzly Extreme Edition. These are really expensive, but again, depending your likings, you can, or how much you can afford, whichever you want. This you can purchase for use. I'll be using an Arctic MX4 in this video. So first thing first, once you flip the upside down, you're going to use a torque screw, and we're going to remove all the screws on the bottom all around. All the screws are the same size and height, so don't worry about mismatching them. So just remove all of them and keep them in a single pile. Also, if you guys find my videos helpful and helping you guys out, you can support the channel by just clicking that like and subscribe. I'll greatly appreciate it. It helps and motivates me to make more videos, take requests, and answer your questions in the comment area. I appreciate that. Alright, once we remove all the screws on the bottom cover, we're going to switch to our Phillips number 1. And we're going to put your screwdriver right in, your finger right on the bottom cover, and lift up this tiny cover. Then you're going to remove 2 Phillips screws in here and pull them out and keep them in a separate file. These 2 screws are the same size and height, so again, don't worry about mismatching them. Once you remove that, you want to put your fingers on the back side here, your thumb right on the hinge, and you want to flip and lift up this cover. Now you can bring a toothbrush, a workshop towel with an alcohol, and you can clean up the dust mesh in here and keep it for side. Keep it on one side. Right, and down here we can see, also tweezers will be handy. 2 fans, a heat pipe with the 2 heat pipes on the GPU and CPU. And I already see this client has a little clogged up with the dust, stuff like that in there, has a cat probably. And the fans are dirty, but not as dirty that I've seen before. So we're gonna get removing these ones and we're gonna clean it up. Right, but before we do this one, we're gonna disconnect the battery. To disconnect the battery, there's not enough room in here to pull this jack backward without damaging it. So I rather take my time, remove the 4 screws that touches the battery. So remove these 4 screws and keep them in one pile. The screws are the same size and height. Alright, now we're gonna lift up the battery, bring it to an offset position. Now you can put your fingers on this side of the jack, your fingers on this side, and you want to pull it backward straight back. Otherwise, you're gonna bend the pin in there. Put the battery to one side. Now we can work in here. We're gonna remove this bracket that goes over the connector of the flex cable for the LCD. So I remove one screw in there. These screws are different sizes. So the long one is on there, and the short screw is on the top side. So grab this bracket, put it in here. Now we can untangle these cables around the fan. Just untangle it, bring it to one side, or you can even put a tiny thing in here. You can lift up this plastic thing and lift it upward, hold the fan, and it will disconnect the flex cable for the LCD. So it doesn't bother you. Now with the tweezers, we're gonna disconnect the fans. I don't like yanking on the cable, so we're gonna grab it from the side of the jack and we're gonna push them toward the fan. On this side is a white fan jack, so push it backward, that way you don't damage the fan cable. We're gonna remove 2 screws for this fan. We already removed one screw in here. We need to remove one more right at the back here. So there's one more screw for this fan. Let's go ahead and remove this one. And we can pull the fan backward. So if you just want to clean it up, you can do it like this. So go ahead and remove the other fan. Short screw. These screws are the same. Again, look at that clogged up right in there. We can take these ones outside and we can use a toothbrush, clean it and blow some air through here to clean these ones out. Now to remove the heatsink, first we're gonna remove all this junk here a little bit. We're gonna remove 1, 2, 3, 4 screws that touches the heatsink in the middle. So go ahead and remove these tiny screws. You want to lift it up closest to the heat CPU and GPU, bring it up, wiggle it around, and it will just snap out. And that's how you can disconnect. Now, you don't need to remove the thermal pads or replace them. These are 0.5mm thermal pads for the VRAM, but these are really good unless yours is ripped out. They really don't get too hot on these versions. So, but you do need to remove all the gunk in here. So I'm going to take it outside, brush it out, and then we come back and we're going to change the thermal paste. Alright, now that I took it outside, I cleaned up the heatsink with a toothbrush and blow some air through here, clean up the fans with a toothbrush as much as I could. You can take your time and do a better job than me if you want. Clean up the base from any dust particles with an alcohol. You see it's kind of dirty. You don't have to go too nifty about it because it's going to get dirty within a few days. So yeah. Now what we're going to do, we're going to put alcohol on the towel. And we're going to wipe the old thermal paste off the CPU and GPU. So keep wiping it out until the whole thing comes off. So you can see all those component tiny capacitors. You won't damage them because using a worktop towel. Use a dry part to just wipe them out. So you see how it rips apart without damaging the components. Now what you want to do, you want to put one drop on the GPU in the middle. And you want to put a tiny line on the CPU right there. Now next, if you have replaced the thermal pads, these thermal pads are 0.5mm. So you want to bring this heatsink straight over. Make sure the screw holes are matching. You want to put it down and don't lift it up again. I'll recommend you guys starting from the mid back. There's the numbers on them. You can follow the numbers, but I really like to start from the mid top right there and go down right in front of it, and then doesn't matter whichever side you start. This way I found it better for the thermal paste evenly spreads around. We have lifted up and tested with going by the numbers. It's the same result, but I like it this way, and it gives you better results. So the white jack fan, it was on the left side. So push the jack connector inside, pinch it in there, put the right one in there. Before putting it there, I'm gonna put the fan connector in there so it's easier. Now I'll put the one screw at the back here, and then I'll put the 2 screws on the left side fan. We're gonna run this cable all around the fan right there, and then push the jack in the connector. It goes straight in, it just pushes down. Make sure this cable is nicely all around here. Grab this bracket, put it right on top here. Remember, the longest screws is on the right side of the bracket, and the shortest screw goes right by the fan. Holds the bracket and the fan at the same time. There we have it. Now, one last thing is to just grab the battery right here. Before you put the battery down or align it, you want to put in the jack connector right in front of the cable right here, and you just want to pinch it right in there directly evenly. Don't go sideways in. And then you want to put the battery right on the screw holes and put the 4 screws for the battery. And this pretty much should cover up inside of the laptop. So I'm going to put the cover and we're going to power it on so you guys can see that it does power on and everything works fine for those people that are really paranoid. Right, once we're done with this one, you want to grab the bottom cover that we cleaned up, put it straight over, double check, make sure the fans are connected, the heatsink, there's no cables pinching around, put the plate right on top, put the 2 screws right on the bottom cover here, then go ahead and put the torque number 5, put the bottom all around the screws. I just put one in the back corner for the hinges, and then I'll come back and I'll put the rest of the screws. So I don't think this will make this video last longer. So we're gonna power it on, and I see the backlit on the keyboard, and within a few seconds I should see the logo for the Dell, and there we go. And in a few moments I'll be inside the Windows, and let's see, let it load. Again, if you guys like this video, you know what to do. If you have any question or request, feel free to leave them in a video comment. I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. And this is how you can service and clean and repaste your Dell Precision 5530 model. I don't know why it says Dell Precision 15, which is not. So we can go to the task manager. In here, we can see the CPU nicely, the memory 32 gig, and then GPU NVIDIA Quadro P1000. And that should cover up today's video.